this is a different video for me. I moved around some things in my filming space, and so I really just want to go through some makeup. I want to do my desk, and I have something important to talk to you about. So I figured let's, do them both. As someone with ADHD, I have to be doing something. So this will help being able to talk about what I need to talk about that is hard. So let's get started. So I'm just going to be cleaning up and I'll talk a little bit about stuff that I'm doing, but not a ton. Kit Kat is underneath me right now, and I'm going to move this mic. It's a little overwhelming because stuff is just everywhere, but I'm going to attempt to make heads or tails of what is going on here. And I want to, just change some things around. So hopefully it's not too clickety clackety for you. So I did a video on going to a specialist so that I could potentially get my implants removed. And so, I did that, and you can watch that video. I'll link it. And one of the things that he wanted to do to, ensure that he could even remove them, or if he would remove them or not, or if insurance would cover them or not, was that I had to get a mammogram. I'm 46 years old as this is being recorded, and I have never had a mammogram, although I have implants. I think I said in that video, I got my implants at 39-ish. I was probably 39. I wasn't yet 40, so they didn't make me. If you're over 40, they would have made you get a mammogram first, because I just didn't want to pay any extra fees or anything. I didn't do it. So my doctor has been after me like all the time to, do this mammogram. Like, let's get this mammogram going. And I kind of just blew it off, honestly, for a lot of reasons. Not because, I was afraid of anything, but because, where I live in the country is, not accessible in terms of, any of that imaging centers and things like that. And then in starting my own business, I just, everything seemed to, take too much time in general for me. So it just was one of those things where it's it's taking too much time. I don't have the time. That was really my hang up. So in order to find out if I could get my implants taken out, even if I were to pay for it or insurance was going to pay for it, I had to have this mammogram. He required it. So, there was no two ways about it. So I was I kind of was more on board with, getting it actually done because of that. But then I just finding places to set stuff right now is stressing me out. So I put it off. And okay, so I finally was talking to the ladies that I work with at the Erie Cancer Wellness Center. And I'm not sure how it exactly came up, but it came up that I had not had a mammogram. And they basically lost it on me. And they're early detection is key. Basically, WT, what are you doing? And so she's I'm having my mammogram today, go with me. And I'm well, I can't go today, but I promise, I will make the appointment on the app and I'll screenshot it and send it to you, which I did. And so once I did that, I had to go because she was checking in. And the day of the scheduled appointment, she did. She was just okay, yay, She told me she got her results back and that everything was good when she got her results back. And so, I was okie doke. So I went in to have the mammogram, and they did show me what it looked like. And to me, I was oh, cool. It looked clear. It looked clear to me. She's well, there's a little spot here and a little spot there. And you've never had a mammogram before. So, we don't have anything to refer it to. So still, I wasn't scared of anything because she was just saying that this happens. I spoke to my mom and my cousin, and they both were hey, we have dense breast tissue, and we often have to, have an ultrasound because, they just want to make sure, because when you have dense breast tissue, then, cancer can hide and things like that. I was like, okay, so still wasn't worried. Then I go to the ultrasound and I'm like, okay, this is cool. I go to the ultrasound and there's like two ways. Like once you're done with the ultrasound, you either go this way and get your keys out of the locker and leave, or you go this way. So I saw two women. One went this way afterwards, got her keys left, and then the other woman went the other way. So once we were done, she's like, hey, we're going to have you, we need to do some more tests. We need to do a sonogram. I thought she was going to like send me home and then have to schedule a sonogram or whatever. But she didn't. She was like, we're just going to go do it now. So I went down the hall and there's like a waiting room there. And this is just really hard. So I went down the waiting room and the woman that went first, she was in the waiting room and she was like still in her gown and everything. And they came out into the waiting room where I was and they were like, everything looks good. It's all good. And she's like, oh my God, thank God, you know, with relief. So, okay, now I have an experience where they come, you know, right into the waiting room and just, you know, tell you, which is nice. And you're not sitting there. So I go in to have the sonogram, and on the right side, they did their thing, and it was really quick. It was like kind of quick, and, you know, so then after that, they did the other side, and they just kept like moving me here, moving me there. Like she just kept moving me around, and I happened to glance up because like the monitor's behind you, and I saw what she was doing and like what she was taking a picture of, and it was definitely a mass. You could easily see it. And so I was like, okay. So when I was done, she's like, okay, you can stay in here. Like she didn't send me to the waiting room. So I was like, okay. If you don't know, my degree is in behaviorism, so I go a lot off of behaviorism and cues and routine. Whether we want to admit it or not, humans in general are pretty repetitious, and they, you know, they have their tells and they have their routines. So the fact that she's like, stay in here, I didn't think that that was good. And so I'm like, all right, just trying to chill, just trying to like keep stuff in perspective. So we go, you know, I'm in that room and she's like, okay, well, you can go with this woman. So this woman puts me in a room, and the room on the door says consult room. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is just not good at all. So I go in there and she said that on the right side was fine. I found out later when they like put your results in the app, I found out later that the right side was a cyst. She never said it was a cyst. She just said the right side was fine. She didn't say anything else. And I was like, okay, well, you know, that's good. So she said, but on the left side, you know, we found something. So she just said that they found a mass, and she explained it was a 4B mass, and she explained like what that meant and, you know, all of the different things. She's like, you're gonna have a biopsy. And like, so this was Tuesday. So she's like writing my name down on Thursday. She's like, can you come in Thursday? And I was like, well, no, I can't, because that was a day, you know, Avery. So during all this, Avery's getting ready to leave. So I'm filming this on a Friday. He leaves Sunday to go into the Marines. So it was already like such a hard time for me. And I was like, I can't go Thursday because he has to go to his final physical thing. And I was just like in shock, honestly. So I couldn't think, like, could I go Thursday? And then the other thing is, like, you can't shower for 24 hours after the procedure, and you can't lift anything for 2 days. And tomorrow we're having, like, a little, like, you know, going away picnic thing. And my son is very perceptive. You know, it's just been me and him. So he would wonder why, like, I couldn't lift anything and, you know, whatever. And you know, I just was like, I don't want him to worry. I don't want to tell him unless there's something to tell. So I was like, listen, I'll just do it on Monday. Now, he was originally supposed to leave on Monday, so I had already worked out my schedule, you know, with the Christmas in July and everything. The reason we did the Christmas in July was because, you know, I knew my son was leaving. I know how emotional I am about it, and I just wanted to make sure that I didn't have to, like, worry about a live and all this kind of stuff. I did not do it thinking that this would be the reason I would need the time. So also, he found out he was leaving. So he's shipping out on Monday, but they do it from New York. And so he has to be sent to New York first. So they're doing that on Sunday. So again, I was not prepared for him to leave early. But because of that, then I had that time on Monday to get the procedure. And she was like, you'll know something by like Wednesday-ish. And I'm like, okay. So I tell my cousin's like one of my best friends. I love her so much. And she just is very, very, very supportive person. And she really understands me and like how my mind works. So as soon as I told her what happened, she's like, where are you? I'm going to meet you. So she, drove over. We live about 25, 30 minutes away from each other. So it's not like close. So she's driving and she meets me. She doesn't say anything. She just runs up and hugs me and like hugs me very tight. And so that definitely made me feel like, because I told her like what the mass was and everything. I'm like, okay, like she thinks this is serious too. And so, we get Starbucks, we talk, and I'm just like in shock and not to throw, anyway, I tell my partner, I don't think he 100% understood what I was saying at first. And so, it was like, he didn't have a bad reaction, but he didn't have the reaction that I think he should have had. So, until we talked a little bit later. So I get home and later I think it was the next day. Yeah, yesterday. So Wednesday. I get the alert on the app that they uploaded my results. So I read the results. And then that is when I really started to get scared. Because they said that I had like scattered breast tissue, which means it's pretty like easy to see stuff, which is good because you can get early detection. But it also means like what they're seeing is pretty clear. And again, I'm just sharing like I'm literally going through it. Like this is literally happening in real time as I'm filming this. So, my understanding, my thoughts, these are my fears. And the reason I wanted to share this is because I know some of you have gone through this or will go through this. And I want to, let people know that this sort of thought process and experience is not abnormal. So, you don't need to, please don't like share all the medical advice down and this and that. By the time this goes up, I will know and understand differently and more. But right now, this is what I'm thinking and feeling. And so I would just, I don't necessarily need you to correct me if I'm saying something wrong or whatever. This is my understanding right in this specific moment. And I'm just wanting more to share this for people to be able to like understand processing feelings and all that. I was looking at they uploaded the results on the app. Probably should not have done that, but I did. And some of the stuff that she didn't tell me were details in there. And like, I get why she didn't tell me. But I did see that on the right side that there was a cyst. And it did look cyst-like. To me, in my eye, it looks like an onion. So it's like round in the middle and like two, thinner pieces on either end. And so I was like, okay. And then on the other side, it said, well, to back up, when they're talking like 4B mass, like, so 4A means that it's, it's the size of the mass and they don't think that it's cancerous. B is that they're suspicious that it is, and C is that they're pretty certain that it is. And these are categories used by the radiologist. So I did look more into that. And although it says it's like, up to 50% chance, like B is like 50-50. Although it says that, it does say, depending on the radiologist and their, skill and their, experience and stuff, they put, the B masses, they put that label B when they feel more than 60% sure that it is cancer. Like they, you know, that's how they determine, even though that's not how, and this is from research and things like that. Again, I'm not claiming that this is correct or not. This is my understanding right now in this moment. And so, yeah. So then I read that it was a complex solid mass, which I looked up that and found, you know, that is more indicative of cancerous. And it does actually raise the possibility that it is cancer to 30 to 50% instead of like 0 to 50, which to me is a lot. Like everyone's like, oh, well, it's 50% it, but then there's 50% not. Well, to me, this is me. Like, that's not reassuring, because if you're going to say 50-50, you're going to lose your leg or not lose your leg. I mean, 50-50 to me is a high chance in you know, context. So I was like, okay, you know, is what it is. Like, that's what's going on. And the other thing is that you know, my mom's like, oh, you know, we don't have a history of breast cancer on our side. But, you know, I also don't have the same breast tissue as it appears that most of the women on my side do have. And I don't know my dad's family very much. Like, I know of them, and, like, I'm friends with a couple of them on Facebook, but I don't know, like, history, or I don't know any of that. So, you know, that is concerning to me. Like, I don't know, do they have a history? So on my chart it says no reported history, but I don't honestly know if that's true, because like I said, I don't really know my family. So this is like the weirdest like side note, but it is a side note for people. Like, if you have family that you know of or that you're estranged with or whatever, you know, at least maybe if you can share like any medical history with them, because there's no other way for them to know that, and it can really like make a difference. So I have that biopsy on Monday. It's going to be a 2.5-hour procedure, and they're going to put this like little metal thing in me to track everything. And she said I should know by like Monday, or by like Wednesday or Thursday. I don't know. I could be wrong, I could be overreacting, but that is just like where I'm at with everything. So that is like what I have for you. I'm going to do some follow-up, and I'm going to continue through this journey, but either this is a cautionary tale of like, when you're supposed to get these screenings, get these screenings. Because I have this like scattered breast tissue, and this mass is at 4. Like, if I would have went earlier, and please, like, I don't want anybody to beat themselves up. I'm beating myself up, but, like, I don't want you to beat yourself up. If I would have went earlier, I feel like, you know, they could have detected this earlier. But I know now, and I can only go from now. So either this is a cautionary tale of, like, just do the screenings when you're supposed to, and there's a reason for that. Or this is a tale of, like, you know, my having breast cancer. I have had cancer before. I had cervical cancer in my 30s, so I have had cancer before, but it was dealt with surgery, and then that was that, and I haven't had an issue. This just seems and feels different to me, so I don't know. I don't know how I'm feeling. And so if you're going through this and like you just don't know how you're feeling, like, that's okay to be like, I don't know. I don't know how I'm feeling. I don't know about this. I don't know if this is okay. I don't know if I'm feeling upset or not. Like, it's okay to just be like, I don't know. But yeah, so that is what I have for you right now. And I will, you know, update you guys soon. By the time this goes up, I'll already know some things, and I'll already have a follow-up film. So I'll try to release these sort of closer together, just so, you know, people aren't thinking or worrying or whatever. So that's what I have for you. I don't know if this is helpful or not. If it is, please let me know. Get your screenings. Please get your screenings. If not for anything, just like for peace of mind. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.